Hello and welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport. I tried predicting the 2023 Formula 1 grid back in March, and it has not aged well. The Formula 1 silly season has been particularly silly this year, but the grid for 2023 is set and we have a few surprises. So let's look at my predictions and the actual outcomes and see how wrong I was. Once again, because if you haven't watched my reaction to my 2022 Formula 1 predictions video, well, let's just say I know how to be spectacularly wrong. So with that, subscribe. 2023 is set to be a great year for motorsport and this channel. So let's look at some grid predictions. Williams. Well, I was entirely right about Nicholas Latifi getting the boot. Not that that was really a surprise. His replacement was not Nick de Vries, as I suggested due to his Mercedes ties, although he is on the grid. Instead we have young American Logan Sargent, a driver I said had no chance of getting into Formula 1 just a couple of years ago. He finished 4th overall in this year's Formula 2 series, and I don't know how well he will perform. But can it honestly get worse than Latifi? Well, it could, but Logan Sargent would have to drive through an orphanage. Alex Albon I got right, but he's driving well and absolutely deserves to be there for another year. Haas. The biggest disappointment of 2022 was Mick Schumacher not being given a drive after showing genuine improvement. Yes, he crashed a lot at the start of the year, and he did hit Latifi in Abu Dhabi, but he also put in some very good performances. Haas's decision to replace him with Nico Hülkenberg is very uninspiring. Yes, he is experienced, yes, he is very capable, but he is not going to move mountains with his reappearance and at best bring some guaranteed stability. Kevin Magnussen remains and the pair will be attempting to drag Haas away from the bottom of the field. A tough task for anyone. Alfa Romeo. The first team that did what I suggested and kept their driver lineup for 2023. Guan Yu Zhou put in good performances but broke down a lot and had a big crash at Silverstone, neither of which he could be blamed for, and he did enough for a 2023 race seat. Valtteri Bottas looked like a driver reborn at the start of 2022, putting in his best performances for a long time, but Alfa Romeo dropped off the pace incredibly quickly and descended to the back of the field. The drivers are good, it's Alfa Romeo holding them back. Aston Martin. I got both drivers wrong. Sebastian Vettel made the decision to retire and Daddy Stroll did not sack Lance for having the racing ability of a drunk wildebeest. I did not call Fernando Alonso jumping to Aston Martin. His relationship with Alpine has seemingly soured, and maybe he was tempted by Aston Martin's ambition and their impressive new factory. I said Formula 2 champion Felipe Drugovich would replace Stroll and race alongside Vettel. That hasn't happened, but he was hired by the team as a reserve driver, so I was almost right. If Lance Stroll mysteriously disappears down a mineshaft, then Felipe Drugovich could get a race for the Martin. AlphaTauri. After bigging up Pierre Gasly's almost godlike status in my 2022 prediction video, I then said he would be at AlphaTauri for 2023 and what a shame that was. Well, he's managed to pick the lock to the AlphaTauri basement and escaped into the warm, loving embrace of Alpine. Not a bad move, as AlphaTauri were dreadful in 2022. Yuki Tsunoda was indeed kept on for another year, but he was poor in 2022. If he keeps that up, then he will be the next out the door. Nick de Vries joins the team, not with Williams like I said, or who he made his debut with at the Italian Grand Prix. It's a brave move to join AlphaTauri when they were so bad, but he did score for Williams in his only start. Maybe he can help bring AlphaTauri back up the grid. Also, do better than Gasly in your first year. Is that too much to ask? Alpine. Talking of Pierre Gasly and Alpine, did not see this combo coming together for 2023. It does make sense, the French team have two French drivers who grew up together and were friends at one point in their lives. Maybe they can reconnect whilst racing at 200 miles per hour. Oscar Piastri and Esteban Ocon was my Alpine choice. One of those drivers is with the team for 2023. In a very embarrassing situation for Alpine, Alonso surprisingly fled. They announced Piastri as his replacement. He then said no thanks monsieur and joined rivals McLaren. Alpine left with a spare seat, sought out Pierre Gasly, and now we have an all-French team. There will be no French Grand Prix in 2023. Esteban Ocon remains and did well, as did Alpine, so maybe this can turn into a dream pairing who will start to challenge the top 3 teams in Formula 1. McLaren. Obviously, Lando Norris is with McLaren in 2023. You'd have to tear Norris from their cold dead grasp. I called Daniel Ricciardo getting the boot though. Obviously, I'm a genius. I said he was going to be replaced by a star of IndyCar racing, the name on everybody's lips. No, not Colton Herta. I didn't put him on the grid at all. No, I went with Pato O'Ward, who has tested for McLaren Formula 1 car and is their driver in IndyCar, so it makes some sense. But they didn't see it that way and went and stole Oscar Piastri from Alpine. So McLaren in 2023 have two very talented young drivers and will be looking to give Alpine another kicking on the track and take back 4th place in the team's championship. Mercedes. Yeah, it was always obvious. George Russell and Lewis Hamilton would return in 2023. They had contracts, they're Mercedes Golden Boys. They were guaranteed no matter what. Will 2023 be Lewis Hamilton's last year? I doubt it, sadly. If Mercedes don't improve, then he's going to continue to damage his legacy. George Russell impressed, and all eyes will be on Mercedes to see if they're a real threat in 2023. Ferrari. Likewise, Ferrari were unlikely to get rid of either Charles Leclerc or Carlos Sainz Jr. Both drivers had ups and downs, but the downs were very steep and did a lot of damage. Ferrari are their own worst enemy at times, and that is the only thing that really has to change in 2023. Red Bull. Again, they were unlikely to make any drastic changes, although Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez falling out and Daniel Ricciardo being hired as a third driver may make Perez sweat a little. Max and Daniel have a good relationship from their time as teammates, despite the on-track shenanigans. If Max gets his way and doesn't like Perez being his teammate, he could make Ricciardo the number 2 driver. A mistake for Red Bull because Daniel Ricciardo just isn't the same driver who raced for the team previously. They'll be strong in 2023 and it's up to their contenders to try and keep up with the Red Bull team. So that was my reaction to my 2023 Formula 1 grid predictions. I actually got 13 right, more a sign of how stagnant the grid is than my actual mental skill on my part. Subscribe because tomorrow there'll be a prediction video for the 2024 grid, and I have some real out there choices to throw at you. UJ Ida to return confirmed. Thank you for watching and have a good one.